Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. We're going to be using the new Super EZA Fizz Kid BUU against Red Zone Fusion Zamasu, who very soon-ish will no longer be one of the hardest enemies in the game. Like, he just won't anymore. With the way Margin BUU Saga Red Zone is going, very easily going to be displaced. Didn't think you would start with a super attack though, but I still feel like we'll be okay. Kid BUU is on the second rotation. We're fine, we'll survive that. Literally 95% of the team heals, or something close to that. Or if the team doesn't, 95% of the team doesn't heal, then the team will heal 95% of our health back. So, kind of neither here nor there. Kinda here nor there. Now, of course, usually with a unit like Kid BUU, who is primarily used for support. I mean, he's very good outside the support, don't get me wrong. But who's primarily a support, especially a support unit that is that strong. He's going to be in slot 3. Now, for content's sake, he's going to be on main rotation. And we're going to sit him next to whoever, and they're going to be feeding off that permanent support while he's sitting in slot 2. Now, with his type advantage being a Fizz unit, I feel like this phase is going to be an absolute cakewalk for him, which is good. Because even now, those AoEs can still catch a lot of units. And then even then, because of that type advantage and only having 20% damage reduction before getting hit twice to get the extra 20%, getting that 20% shouldn't really be too much of a risk and do too much damage because of the 20% damage reduction he starts with and just naturally having type advantage. So the AoE should be fine. That will count as one attack, shouldn't really do any damage. And then secondly, once he super attacks and gets all that defense, he should be fine. I think the only time he'll take damage on this phase is when he hasn't super attacked and he gets super attacked before he gets his 20% damage reduction. And even then, I don't think he'll die. So how can we have him best linked up? I mean, right now it's like this. So I'm going to leave him in slot 2. The best way we can have him linked up, funny enough, is actually next. Look, we just healed everything back. Like, I was right. The best way we can have him linked up is actually with Buhan, because once Buhan transforms, he does get big bad bosses. So what's this going to do? 74. I mean, to be fair, in the grand scheme of things, again, considering he hasn't super attacked yet, that's fine. That is fine. There are some units on AoEs, even like the stronger units in the game, that have taken over 100k on a normal. And you kind of accept it because, it's early on. Now, I know Kid BUU doesn't really have any build up aside from per turn. With the damage reduction and crit chance, dodge it. It's fine. You didn't dodge it, but it's fine. But even so, 70k is fine because he hasn't got all that defense that he gets from super in. And he doesn't even have his extra damage reduction either. Let alone both. But another good thing is, because of the type advantage and him just pulling out 13 million attack stats, or 11 mil there, he's actually doing good damage here. He's actually going to do good damage in the second phase as well. And that's something that's always been a thing against Zamasu, is this phase, you want to do as much damage as quickly as possible to get out of this phase as quickly as possible to avoid taking as many of those AoEs as possible. So him having type advantage and being able to pull out 11, 13 million attack stats like that, while having built-in crit, don't forget, he actually does some very good damage here. Like, very good. While also increasing everyone else's damage output with his insane support. So he's actually incredibly valuable here, and he's actually just doing really well. I also realized that Super BUU hasn't built up whatsoever, but oh well, it is what it is. I mean, we still have Whis. I mean, that AoE is going to help him build up just a little bit. He'll still be fine. What's so good about this team, especially with all the healing and how strong defensively a lot of these units are with damage reduction and guard, is this is one of the few teams, even without like everyone being rainbowed, you don't really need to use items. Typically, a lot of the time, you need to use an item in the beginning to protect like a handful of units to make sure the AoE doesn't take too much damage off and, increase your risk of dying. This team doesn't have that, because whatever you lose, they're just going to heal right back. And it's absolutely sensational. Why couldn't those be supers? Why you got to be that guy? We've already been super attacked, right? I'm bugging. We already got super attacked, right? I was going to say hopefully Super Buu doesn't get super attacked, but I feel like we already have. That's really bad how this literally happened seconds ago and I've already forgotten. Am I okay? I'm pretty sure I watched us get super attacked. No, I'm not going to transform him just yet, just so we can get an extra stack off. But Kid Buu, literally almost perfect for this phase. I said that type advantage and the amount of damage he's doing is huge. I said the only flaw, or the only weakness he's had here is his literal flaw in his design, which is if he doesn't have, or if he hasn't supered yet, you're missing out on a ton of defense. And he needs to be hit twice to build up his damage reduction. The thing that helps him here is that type advantage. So if he hasn't supered yet, the AoEs aren't really too bad. Do you want to be taking 50, 70k on a normal? No. But compared to other units, taking 50, 70k really isn't too bad in the grand scheme of things. Especially when a lot of these units, including himself, will heal pretty much all of that back. So now we're into the difficult part of this. We are very much going to... We're going to do this. And then I'm going to let the friend Buu float off just because he has more defense. Dodge. Love that. I was going to say, before we got super attacked pretty much immediately, I was going to say if we do get super attacked, then we have the revival ready, which is going to help both Fat Boos, but never mind. We could just completely dodge it with Evil Buu. Such a good EZA. Such a good EZA. I mean, this entire team is just amazing. And then my Fat Buu can stack up a bit more with no risk because there's no attacks in slot 2. But now this is where things may get a little bit techie for Kid Buu, but then the AoEs are gone. So no matter what, if he is going to be hit, it's always going to be after he supers and after he gets that massive defense boost. Or attack and defense boost, but primarily here that's important. Defense. Just a damage reduction that might be a little bit risky to build up. As I said when we first used him, I feel like the only thing that's going to be an issue here is, yes, he'll super attack. Yes, he'll get that big 250% attack and defense on super, which makes his defense climb. But those two initial attacks to get his extra 20% damage reduction, if one of those two attacks are a super attack before he can get it, that's where he's going to be taking some damage. I don't think he'll die. I mean, maybe without an item. But that's where all the damage is going to come from. So we might as well transform you. We're going to get big bad bosses. So we get an extra, what, 20, 25% attack and defense added on. Go up to 234k defense. I kind of want to slide him in slot 1 and see how he tanks. Like with just 20% damage reduction. I'm doing it. I want to see it. Hopefully neither of those attacks are super attacks, because then we can actually get the rest of his damage reduction for the remainder of the turn. Do you know what? 66 and 68k isn't too bad. His attack stats up to over 14 mil, by the way, which is nice. And then he's down to double digits on the normals. He's so good. I know we don't have Gotenks yet, but dare I say that Fizz Kid Buu is the best Super EZA in the game currently. I know Global's only got 2 of them, JP has 3. But out of the ones we have so far, which I know isn't many, I feel like he's the best out of the bunch so far. He has an amazing team to go on. He links so well. That damage reduction is good. I said the only flaw is being hit twice rather than just having it or building up through attacking and keeping it. It's that, you know, needing to be hit twice every turn to get the extra 20% damage reduction. That is the only weakness in his design. On top of just being an amazing support on an already insane team. Might as well. Might as well. And then we might as well pop your active skill as well. Which is exactly what I'm going to do. But again, I know there isn't many. I said Global literally only has 2 of them. Of course, we will eventually get Gotenks and have 3. There will be more coming. But I feel like just out of the ones we have so far, out of the few we have so far, I feel like Kid Buu's the best. He's such a good unit. Such a good unit. Like, before he got his extra 20% damage reduction, are the normals doing double digits? No. Would a super attack at that point probably clock him a bit? Yes. Would he die? Maybe, maybe not. If he doesn't die, he's taking a ton of damage. But the important thing is, he's not taking ridiculous amounts. Like, you expect him to take a little bit before getting his extra damage reduction off those 2 hits. And that is good enough. That's also before he super attacked and got all the extra defense on top. Look at Buuhan with the support being on 1.2 million defense at the start of turn. That's crazy. This Super EZA is generally ridiculous. Like, he's so good. So good. Alright, how much are you going to take here? I've seen what I've needed to see. This is no extra defense, no extra damage reduction. He probably dies. He doesn't even die. Okay, he died there because he got supered. But the super attack didn't even one-shot him. So that means if Kid Buu would have supered at that point, if Kid Buu would have supered, he would have survived. If Kid Buu would have had his extra damage reduction and not supered, he would have survived. I generally thought he might die off the super attack alone. Fair enough. That just kind of proves my point a bit extra. As I said, if he would have super attacked first, even without the extra damage reduction, he would have survived. If he had the extra damage reduction, we hadn't supered yet, he still would have survived. If we had both, then Zamasu's what, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 million super generally wouldn't have hurt him probably at all. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a good rest of your day, and post.